Alright, how's it going, guys? This is Ryan from Lazer Bread. As you may have seen in our last video, without really any explanation, we did a little bit of a teaser trailer thing for this game we're working on called Sydenham Abbey. This is a stealth-based puzzle platformer made in Game Maker, which is sort of just our engine of choice, mostly for comfort. Like, we just sort of we've done a lot of game jams, and this is sort of the engine that we've become most comfortable with from that. So that's why we're using Game Maker for this. So right now, the team is three of us: me, Ryan, doing the programming and sort of project management stuff, and then we have Chris, who's doing all of the sort of sound design. Right now, he's working on a lot of music for different aspects of the game. And then John, who is basically our lead level designer and doing a lot of the art right now for like the environment art and stuff. So that's sort of where we're at right now. It's just been a lot of coding. I'm just waking up every day, fucking coding this stuff up. A lot of it's just feeling out what I think will feel good. But I think it's at a state in which, it's a good time to start doing some development logs and talking about what we've done, because I think you never can be too early with that. So without further ado, I guess I'll just show you what we got going on. So I'll just hit run up here. So the core sort of aesthetic of this game is it's mostly a sort of a narrative game. We haven't really gotten to the point in which we can start really going off the rails of the narrative yet, because we don't even have a dialogue system or anything yet, but it's progressing right now. So basically right now, as you see, our character is right there. This is the doctor. He is the head of Sydenham Abbey. So right now we're working on all of his sort of movements and stuff. We kind of just hammered that out recently. So we got him, he can walk. It's all very digital, like 1 or 0 sort of thing. The animations are placeholder, so you'll notice that they're kind of but it's fine. And then we have sprinting, which is good, and then there's also a nice little turn delay in the sprint. You can crouch and walk, and you can do a run and crouch slide like that. And you can also do that in the air for a bit of a dash. That was actually a bug at first, but when Chris was playtesting with his sister, they decided that it's actually pretty cool, and I agreed. So we just decided to keep it in and let you air dash. We tried doing some things on the sprinting with stamina, and we had a stamina bar up here near your health bar. But the problem with that was that especially right now, first of all, it made debugging kind of weird, and also it just felt bad. You would run and then you would stop, and it's why? Sort of on the cutting block for right now. Until we get more enemy design and stuff in the game, we're probably just gonna have it cut, and we might never ever bring it back because it's really kind of useless. But as you can see, I got full controller support, but I can also play with mouse and keyboard, and that's something I've been working on a lot this week. Because, for example, here these boxes are inventory boxes. They're things you can search. That I'm still working on. So when you press the interact button on these, either with mouse or keyboard, your character is going to enter an inventory state, which means that he cannot move or jump or anything. And this is what I've been working on all week. This inventory now has, originally I showed it off earlier sort of on Instagram with mouse support, but I've just now given it full gamepad support as well. And as you can see, you can just snap right back and forth like it's nothing. So if you're in gamepad mode, that takes precedence, obviously. And then as soon as if you want to drop the gamepad and use a mouse, because I understand that using a mouse might be cleaner for this, right? If you're playing this game at your PC and you're playing with a controller, then you might want to pick up the mouse and do this, because this is sort of, I don't know, it's not really gamepad great, but I made it as great as I could, right? So you move around with this, and then you can hold the sprint. This is the same button you move with, so it's not confusing, right? And then originally I had it where if you hold the button down, you'll go faster, but then I realized that I want to be able to sprint. So I added this functionality where it makes no like literal sense, but it feels right? That like if you're gonna move in an inventory system where you normally move with a player like this and you sprint like this, so I figure it might as well make it cohesive. So I have it where now you basically can sprint in the inventory, and you know, if you need to get more precise, you have full control with like going slower. And what you can do is you hold A to pick something up, and you can drag it around, and you can go faster if you want, and then you can drop it anywhere you need to go. So for this, like, you can't drop stuff on top of other stuff, and if you do, like, you just have to press A again somewhere else and you can place it again. And so like in like here, like I can't place that, but I will place it down there. So that's what I've been working on. It's pretty nice. You can't drag stuff out of the realm of the box, which is nice. It only stays within that realm. And I've also added a really cool like debug functionality, which will show off kind of with more stuff. So like you press F11 and we have all these. This is all, because I was working on this most recently, this is all data related to the inventory that comes up. Like the delay time is like when I'm using the mount, like this you know, controller, like we have like a little bit of a delay, so that's the delay timer. And then like scrolling's actually a dead boolean. I should get rid of that. Just kind of finished this just now. So but yeah, so you select an item, and then we have the item's instance ID saved and item selected, and you can place it. So it's a cool little debug thing I got going on. And so now if we press interact again, you'll see also for the debug we have the state of the player listed, and also whether or not he's grounded. The other two booleans are something I was just having trouble with in the inventory. But so yeah, if we hold sprint, his state changes to sprint normal, and you can see his collision box in white. And if I press circle, like a B circle, you press B, you can crawl like that. So, and you'll see that his mask actually changes related to that. And so this is a fire pit thing that we've worked on with particle effects. We've also noticed that particle effects tend to be real bad for like performance. So I'm trying to limit those as often as I can, but they look really good for fire, which was nice. But yeah, if you hit this, you'll lose health, and if you die, lose all your health. The room restarts, and then you know this stuff is exactly where you left it in your inventory, no matter where you go. No matter what inventory spot you go in, no matter if the room restarts or what. So that's nice. You can also crouch under it. You see collision box doesn't hit the fire, you don't get hit. This little guy is going to be used later on for like the dialogue system testing stuff. Right now he just kind of sits around, and if you get close he looks at you. That's about it. And then I added ladders. There's a lot of stuff to talk about in this dev block because I haven't really done one yet, and we've been doing a lot of work, so bear with me here. So we got ladders, right? Ladders, if you're colliding, right now I'm not colliding, so I can't do anything. Up or down, nothing works. Now if I'm over here on this ladder and I press up or down, I'll cling to the ladder, and you'll see my state changes to state ladder. And I can go up or down, and if I press over, I just hop right off. Just hop right off, see? Right off. And the same thing if I jump, I just jump, fall right off. And up here, this little green arrow is a one-way platform that only is collidable when the player's bottom bounding box is above it, which means that you can crawl right through it and then you can stay on top of the ladder. See, so that we figured out that using one-way platforms and ladders works really great together, because you can have this sort of really easy like thing. See, right there, I wasn't like colliding with the ladder, so I just kind of fell right out. But for the most part, the ladders are like pretty much perfect. I spent a long time, like a whole week on these things, just trying to feel it out perfectly right. So like, even if you're like running toward it and you press up, you'll just climb right up. And that was, it's a lot of trial and error has been mostly my development strategy at the moment. And it's led to some great things. Like I added like a late jump, so like if you run off the edge and like you have like a split second, I missed it there, but you have like a split second to jump. And that was something I found that through trial and error feels really nice. Because like normally like it wouldn't be like that, right? Like it's just 1 or 0, it's just fucking binary. So it's like if you walk off the edge, the second you're off the edge, you grounded boolean's 0, you can't jump. So like giving you a split second to jump was, you know, something I had to implement, you know, directly. And I did it because it just feels really nice to be able to do that, especially when later on, earlier in this level, I have like some jump puzzle things that it feels nice to do that. And you know, obviously like inventory stays the same over here, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, add doors. So doors, go through a door, you're in another room. You can go back, let's see, go through, go back. Again, inventory, same place. everything's the same. So, good news. So, when you're in here, right, you can see better my dynamic like lighting system that I've done. And you can also see how it really hawks performance right now. It's super bad for performance. But what it is basically a bunch of raycasts. So it's real-time lighting. I probably don't need real-time lighting, to be honest, but I wanted to try it, and so there's probably a better solution, but I'll find it out. So basically what I'm doing is I'm shooting these raycasts, and I'm drawing like a primitive, like a vector-based like primitive thing that's just gonna like, this is the origin, is like the point of this torch, and then all around the edges here we have other vertexes. Sorry, we have other vertices, plural. Yeah, we have other vertices, and those vertices have an alpha value. This is something built into Game Maker. You can draw primitives, and each vertice can have its own alpha value. So yeah, that's what I have here. Basically, I'm shooting these raycasts from this light beam to a certain distance, and then I'm setting the alpha of that beam to be relative to where the beam, like where the raycast hit. So like on the ground, the alpha's higher because it hits the pink. Now if I turn off the pink, you can see it better. But you see there's a solid line right there because it's hitting the pink and it's not doing anything. So those primitives, right, which are basically just like fuzzy circles or fuzzy squares or whatever, I'm passing them through a multiply shader because it looks a lot better when you multiply the colors with light, because that's how light really works, right? For the most part, like it multiplies color. It doesn't just like, it's not just a white overlay, right? So like you want to multiply what you got going on. So that's why it kind of looks nice on the ground and stuff. There is a little bit of a problem with it, besides the fact that it's a performance hog, and boy is it a performance hog. But these little beams, right, like the raycast right here, right, it's hitting the ground, but because of the way the draw primitive thing works and the way I'm setting the alpha, like it's not like blending with the alpha like values on the other beam. Like this beam hits the ground over here and this beam hits the ground right here, right? And so the fact that there's no blending right there kind of makes this nasty line that looks like really bad. But it makes these weird effects like right here, like this looks like weirdness. It's kind of neat. It's like a little god ray. I don't know, it's neat, but it's weird. Like it's not what I want, right? So you can really see right here, like the alpha hits the wall and it's like 0 and it shouldn't be. And I'm still working on that. This week's mostly been inventory stuff, but I'll be hopping back on the lighting and trying to make this way more performant and way less, how you say, stupid looking. Anyway, another cool thing in the States doohickey. So like I said, I'm changing the player's collision mask based on whether or not he's crouching. So I wanted to make sure that he can't like crouch into a wall and clip into it or stand up into a building or something. So I made this little like hole in the level. So you can, yeah, notice that you can like slide into a little room. And then now, because this is too, again, the sprite's not really representing this very well, but because this is too narrow, he can't stand up. No matter what I do, he can't stand up. I can't stand up. I can't change state out of crouch, which is part of why the state machine's so beautiful for this, is because like I could check to see if my mask would collide with the wall and then not change my state accordingly. So having it all, and you can jump in here, which is weird. I don't know. I'm working on that still, trying to figure out whether or not that's what's the thing I want. But the cool thing is that with the raw power of just having this guy be like a pretty simple state machine is this great, because everything that he could do, you can specifically write out how he can transition from that thing to another thing. So for example, in crouch, like I can specifically say like, if your mask doesn't clip through the wall, yada yada yada, you can't yada yada yada. So that sort of stuff is really powerful in a state machine. I'm fucking rambling. Oh my god. What I'm trying to say is, state machines are awesome because you can separate everything into behavior and the transitions from behavior to behavior. And because you could do that, you can have a lot of power to like just straight up explicitly list the things that cause state transitions. But it's also sort of a weakness in the way that, like, there's a lot of duplicated code and behaviors, and there's a lot of problems with, like, you have to explicitly list every single transition out of every behavior. So, you know, but as far as for our needs, I think this is like the perfect solution for the player. So I'm super happy with it. You'll know, like, and also, like, if I wanted to add more states, it's super easy. Like earlier this week, I added the inventory state as a way for the player to stop, and you can change controls. Like, I changed up all the controls so that the player's controls would now affect an inventory box instead of the player, and all that kind of stuff. And you can change sprites and everything through the state machine, and it's super nice. Like, it's super easy. Once I get the lighting figured out and some other things, I think that we'll start getting to the point where we have a really, like, playable looking nice demo. Lighting, and then some, like, enemies and stuff. Enemies are a big problem. I had an AI course, so, like, I'm ready to do that, but it's still gonna take some doing, and Game Maker makes the doing kind of rough sometimes. So we'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, I want to show you this ladder. So, like, you can snap right. Oh, if you press this way toward the wall, you don't fall off. If you press the other way, you do. That was a little something that you know, just from playtesting. Just that's how I develop. I've learned that. Like, my development philosophy is, you know, based on just, like, make the loosest, roughest, shittiest interpretation of what you think you want you possibly can, and then play it and then see, like, hey, like, I don't like this, I don't like that, this is a bug, like, and those that'll help you fix it out. And, like, maybe it won't be the most performant, but, like, working in Game Maker, I'm not gonna get the most performant stuff anyway. But, you know, at least at the end of the day, it'll play good, right? And that's what I'm really aiming for this game. Is, like, I'm not trying to make the next freaking Unreal Tournament, like, it's crazy, like, I don't know why I said Unreal Tournament, what the hell. I'm just trying to, like, do something deep and meaningful that I think a lot of people might also enjoy, because I do. So, and the best art is selfish, right? So maybe that's what I should do. So yeah, that's Sydenham Abbey. I'll see you next devlog. Thanks.